folks, Dave here, and I like carrying fun knives for work, and this is certainly one. This is Welcome to Work Week. This is the Manix 2, an M390, the one that every retailer in the world has listed on their exclusives page for some reason, along with the S35 PM2, whenever that was a thing. Every one of them has it listed under their exclusive page. It's very frustrating. Anyway, this is gotta lead it off, the sexiest knife in the world. Look at that flat dark earth and the black blade. Anyway, I've been told I'm a little bit too handsy in these things. Gotta get it out up top. But I have carried this one for a little bit longer than I typically do. Work week typically refers to a 7-day period, more or less. I've been carrying this for several weeks now, a few weeks certainly. And that's been because in the past, in the fall, I was cutting up 30 bags a day. By the way, hey, EEDC, I'm glad you watched this. I think you're the only one and appreciate the premise. What I really should have done as a lead-off to that series is sometime in October, take my VG10 Delica to work so that we can kind of have it as a baseline to know, not this one, the other one. I care about this one too much. So that we can have a baseline for what it is that I'm talking about with fertilizer and lime and all of that fun goodies. When I was working similar job, different place, so it wasn't as like knife-eaty, I watched this, and this is after I've put a ton of work into cleaning it. I watched this all happen over the course of a day. This is a ZDP Endura. I watched this thing turn brown and pitted over the course of a day. It was absurd. But with this, I've carried this longer because I wanted to get kind of an equal measure. And this is held up stellar. This is an M390 blade, which is something that does not need to be coated. Obviously, it should be because I'm me and have my opinions. But this is one of the more stain-resistant, not LC200N or NH1 or something like that. But it's one of the more stainless blades, certainly more than certainly more than ZDP. That combined with a solid DLC coating that lets everything slip off, and rust was never really going to be a concern with this one. Not something I was worried about. In the internals, also, everything in here is completely blacked out. You can see in the internals, this is just a well-made knife. They did a ton of skeletonization on this, milling out weight reduction holes on the interior. My rust was never really a concern. M390 holds a blade, holds an edge like crazy. It's not M4, but holds a very good edge. So that was never really a concern. And to that point, it's fine. There's a little bit of a hiccup right there towards the tip, but it's fine. I don't use this part of the knife. I use this part of the knife, but edge is fine. The biggest concern for me was going to be this in the pocket, because historically I have loved the Manix. Great blade, great handle, incredibly comfortable in the hand. This thing is wide. This thing goes in the pocket and is like this. This thing is deep and wide as the love of God. What do we have around the place? Kalashnikov? Sure. You can see it all kinds of around this, especially because I like to put my phone in my back pocket with my knife. This is something that you got to be careful about, making sure that the blade is slightly tilted so that you can put your phone in, all that kind of thing. Just walking around with it, driving with it, because I sit on my butt for a lot of the day, it have a lot of dust there in the locking mechanism. Doesn't seem to be bothering it at all, though. I was genuinely expecting this to be more of a problem with the travel, with the it in pocket, and it was not. I don't know if my work pants are just like slightly differently placed than my jeans are, but in my jeans it's frustrating. Not frustrating, vaguely annoying, just in the oh, I'll put something else in my pocket today kind of frustration. My work pants was not a concern, not at all. What was a concern, what was actually a problem, is that for my work, because anything that does that to a knife is not something you want on your hands, I wear very big, like hazmat industrial gloves. A little bit overkill, but they're easier to get on and off than nitrile gloves. Anyway, these are so big and so rubber. They're like clown shoes for your fingers. It genuinely makes operating this thing a little bit difficult, because imagine you're working with like a band-aid on your finger or something like that, and getting your massive rubber finger into the hole and then trying to pinch it while there's a bunch of material bunched up here. You got to make sure that's flat. What I eventually ended up doing is just, this is a two-handed knife now, opening, closing. This is just a two-handed knife because my hands are so much bigger than they should be. And that was actually, I didn't see that coming, but that was genuinely the biggest frustration from this. My brain is still telling me this week, from like this past month. Getting in and out of the pocket, super easy. I love that this pocket clip is pushed way far up, but the screws are still right there. We don't need everything to be a perfectly deep carry where like you can't see the blade at all. Just make it as deep as you can go and then make it accessible. Perfect pocket clip for me. It really is just this knife's interaction with my gloves. I didn't see that coming. Part of why I'm excited for this next week, carry something stupid. Also, it's a push button, so I think that'll work better. I'm expecting this to work a little bit better than this. The gloves thing hasn't come up before really because I've been doing different things at work, but irregardless. So my big boy Kalashnikov coming up next, and I'm excited for it. This is a very silly thing. This thing has a chisel grind. It's got to be one of my first experiences with that. It's Oz 8, so I get to yell about that in a week from now. Get pumped! If this has been helpful to you for whatever reason, let me know down below. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, let me know that as well. If you've never listened to the Chemical Worker song by, I think the group is One Big C, listen to that as well. I'll link it down below because it's a great song. Have a great day.